apologies for starting late. I had the wrong link, so my bad. Apologies. But yeah, basically, thank you for being here for this massive occasion. You know, obviously it is embargoed. Please note that. But to mark rugby's greatest rivalry, a new competition that's starting next year, and an unbelievable, I think, tournament for all of us, especially the South Africans and New Zealand, and hopefully all our fans around the world. Just in terms of the details for this specific media conference, it will be Rassie and Sia. And then there's just a few very important points to note. The series will take place in August and September next year in South Africa, featuring 3 test matches and 4 provincial matches, and then a 4th test at an international venue. It will be followed by a reciprocal series in 2030 in New Zealand, rotating between the nations every 4 years. The schedule has been planned in alignment with SANZAAR, which will be announcing its 5-year schedule shortly. Tickets will go on sale early in the new year, with details to be confirmed when the formal announcements are made. So please note that between Andy and Callum, they will let you know when you are allowed to use these quotes. But yeah, please feel free to ask questions, and one question at a time, and so we can give as many people as possible an opportunity, and then we can get cracking. So hands up for questions. Jan?
Thanks, Gina. Morning, Rassie. Thanks for chatting to us.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Lekker om julle almal te sien.
Rassie, I mean, as somebody who was privileged enough to do the 94 tour with the boxing, which was the last big tour to New Zealand. I think then there was the 96, 2 years later, just after the advent of professionalism. Put this in context to the guys. What does it mean to almost reintroduce proper tours? I know it's only every 4 years, but put it in context for a Springbok, both as a player and as a coach, to reintroduce these tours.
Yeah, thanks for the question there, man. Listen, I'll try to keep you the answer short, but obviously there's a lot of things one can say about these things. The first thing is I'd listened to Johan Ackerman 2 nights ago on TV, and he said he was so happy to go on a tour with the players so you can get to understand the older players and the junior players in the team. So first thing is, if you ever want to get really tight as a team, you know, tours is really one of your first things in the old days that you did, you know, even if it was just a school touring in the Eastern Cape or whatever. So this one is big for us. For us, it's for team building. It's, you know, you get to know each other better. You get frustrated with each other. You start to understand the coaches better. You start to understand the country where you're touring's culture better, how they support, what is the fan base like. You know, the brand gets a little bit out there. So I did not play in the 94 one. I played in the 96 one. That was where I was called up from, I can't remember where, England, to France for that France Barbarian. But we were then on a 7-week tour. So, well, I was much younger then, but we used to love tours. So overall, I think the players, I know the game is a hell of a professional now, but I think overall most of the players will enjoy it. And most of the teams that has good guys and the right guys in their team environment will also enjoy touring. So yeah, I'm very excited about this movement that has happened in the game.
Lita?
Hi, Z, bye, Dankie. Hello, Rassie. I see. I hope you guys are good. Rassie, just for you, I noticed in your opening remarks after Saturday's win that you said you don't know when the rugby championship is going to happen again. So how long have you guys known about these plans? And what was the chat with the players and the buy-in from them?
No, obviously I do sometimes still get I'm not the high performance manager or general manager anymore, but I'm still the Springbok coach. So I do hop in there every now and then. And then obviously Andy and his team make sure we're up to date with everything. We've been knowing for a while that they're working on the greatest rugby rivalry. Now that it's officially announced, I think I've known it for the last year that the guys been working on it, and we've been part of the schedule of the 4 teams and who they play here. They just got our input on that. But further than that, I think you must maybe ask Andy on when is the next rugby championship. I purely said that on Sunday or whenever I said that. We don't know where the next rugby on Saturday. When is the next rugby championship? Because I really don't know. But Andy, you can maybe help out there.
Sure, thanks, Ras. Yeah, Leighton. So obviously, SANZAAR will be making an announcement in due course. So please observe the embargo and the direction of travel. Everyone said that Rugby Championship's ending. That's actually completely wrong. The Rugby Championship is going to continue. It'll take place in 27, 28 and 29, a full Rugby Championship. But please, this is SANZAAR's to announce. Obviously, this is embargoed until we can announce Rugby's rivalry, which will only be after the SANZAAR announcement. So this is context for you. But by the time that you can use these quotes, SANZAAR should have confirmed that schedule. So please, this is just for advice and not for leaking or sharing now, because it's not SA Rugby's, it's not New Zealand's, it's not ours to announce. Thank you.
Guys, let's take Alex and then Kobus.
Rassie, good morning to you.
Morning, Alex.
I wonder how much you've obviously you've been involved with British and Irish Lions tours and seen them come down and the way that it kind of takes over the country and so many people come and visit it. I wonder whether this has the capacity, the potential to be a similar sort of thing with New Zealand coming over to you going over to there. Is this the Southern Hemisphere really kind of getting onto the not the Lions bandwagon, but getting into what makes that so special?
Yeah, I think the name, the greatest rivalry, says a lot. But I mean, I hope people don't see that in an arrogant way. It's just the history between us and New Zealand is really rich. It's I can remember when I was a small boy, the Rebel Tour, the flower bomb, incidents. It was almost for us lockdown in World Rugby with the apartheid and everything. And there was a Cavaliers tour here to South Africa. I remember watching that one. So the history between us and them, maybe because I know Six Nations is an awesome tournament. I know Top 14 is an awesome tournament. And all the others. So for us to say it's the greatest rivalry is not to say that it's better than the other competitions. It's just this rivalry between us and New Zealand has been going on for so long. I'm not sure if we'll catch the England vibe and the singing and what the other country in Scotland, when you go to the stadium of Wales, there's horses in front of the bus, there's choirs that sing, there's different atmospheres at every single stadium. I hope we can get there one day, but I don't think it's by a flick of a finger and you immediately have it. But hopefully we'll get there.
And just one supplementary question. You just come off some people would say the greatest rugby championship we've had. Every round was thrilling and full of drama. Are you concerned that by stepping away from the rugby championship you may lose that momentum?
I'm not sure how long we're going to be away from the rugby championships, So, if you play New Zealand 4 times in a row, I'm not sure if you lose a lot by not playing Australia and Argentina. But I'm sure, as far as I understand, we will never. I believe, I would hate it if I'm part of it. If Argentina will just be thrown away or Australia just been thrown away, I would personally not like it, not that I have a say. So no, I think that will be the sad part, but the good part will be that we're playing against a team that's been ruling world rugby for the last 20 years. It's only the last 4 or 5 years that we managed to catch up with them. So rugby wise, I can't see many negatives, but we don't want to drop our partners who look well after us in the past.
Guys, just a reminder that Sia is also on this call. If you have any questions for him, there's literally less than 20 minutes left. So
No, it's
please,
okay. Don't worry, coach will handle them. I'm just here to listen.
you're just having a look here.
I'm not complaining.
Cobus?
Morning. Thanks, Zina. Morning, Rassie. Morning, Sia. My question is for Rassie. Obviously, next year when the All Blacks arrive here in South Africa for the first tour, the Boks will be still world champions and rugby championship champs. So they will obviously arrive with a lot of motivation. Is this the next box the Springboks want to tick to after next year also be able to say that they've won a test series against the All Blacks?
No, I'll tell you, it's always tough against New Zealand when they play here, when we play anywhere, World Cups, anywhere. They're always one of the top teams. But I will be very arrogant if I say, yes, that's the case. Because the teams we're playing at the end of this year, we play 5 test matches. And you can see in those 5 we play, France and Ireland is in there. And then there's 3 others that can really cause problems for us. So, look, when the time comes, we will be up for it and we'll make it a goal for us. But it's really too far. The only thing we can start planning from now on is maybe the operational stuff which Charles Vessels and his team does, where we'll stay and where will New Zealand stay and how we will release players and those kind of things. But apart from that, it's now end of year tour, World Cup draw, and then we'll get into that.
Let's take you and Kaniso.
Hi there, question for Sia.
Is it Koza?
No, question for Sia Kolisi.
Yeah, mute. Yeah.
So you don't just have to observe. Hi, morning.
Morning.
Question about I understand that this tour will replace the Rugby Championship in 2026, but can you give me an idea of how you're viewing your workload across the year now? There's a lot of test matches, you've got URC commitments, the Nations League we think may be starting next year as well, and then a lead into the 27 World Cup possibly for you. Have you got any concerns, Sia, about the amount of rugby you're being asked to play, and what limitations do you put on it? How do you make sure you're not doing too much?
The nice thing is that we have obviously SA Rugby helps us with our break, and we have my players too. With an organization that's outside everything that just helps us with our player well-being. So we have breaks that are waiting. Like we can speak to the club and say, okay, they tell us this is the amount of weeks we can have off, and then you can choose in different parts of the year when you can take off. So I know my breaks already. Next year in February, we will get 6 weeks off, where we get 3 weeks completely off, and then 3 weeks of training as well. So there are things that have been worked on by SA Rugby and my players to make sure that we have those kind of breaks, because the guys that don't play for South Africa, they get their breaks when we're playing international, basically. So yeah, at this moment, so far, the way that we've been looked after has been really good. So I have no concern at the moment.
Sia, if I can add there, guys, this is before last week's game. Just in general, the guy who's played, we've played 10 matches now. The guy who's played the most was Kane and Moody on 7. And then there's a few on 6. Then there's about 5 on 5. And then there's 3, 2, 1, 3. So we've used 48 players or so. So, and I know people are saying traveling with the team, doing training sessions, that obviously also tires you and makes your body a little bit fragile. But actual matches played, an example, if I can tell you, like our 3 fly-offs before the last test match, they've only Andre Pollard 250 minutes, Mani Libbok 276 minutes, and Sasha 279 minutes. Now 279 minutes, if I can do my math quickly, that's 160, what's that? Yeah, so about 4 games, ball in play, if I can talk that way. So, and the forwards, if I quickly can go there, is not much off. Now I'm going to take up your time. All I'm trying to say is when they were off for 17 weeks, they play 10 games in 17 weeks because seven weeks is preparation. But then those 10 games, there's not one player that played all 10 games. The average is probably 5. Just for info.
Can you so?
Thank you very much. Good morning, Rassie. Good morning, Sia. Good morning to everyone else on the call. Sia, just talking about the importance of playing the All Blacks. It's a question that I've often asked you before at press conferences. But just talk us through playing them in a tour and the importance of the South African All Black rivalry to you guys as players. And now that you'll be over a 3-match course and not just a 2-match appetitive in a rugby championship.
Yeah, I think it's exciting for us players. I mean, I've only certainly heard of tours. I've never really seen one like this. So it will be something new for us as players and something very exciting. I've heard so many stories from guys who've played in tours. I mean, Coach Rassie, the way he speaks of it. So it will be something new for us as a group. And obviously the rivalry between us and New Zealand has always been big and it's always been tight. I mean, you saw this year with the 2 games that we played against them. And there's always something new, and it's it's going to be exciting to see them being, I think for them as well, they'll get to know South Africa a bit more, get to interact with the public because they do have a lot of South Africa support in South Africa. I think it will be a big thing for most of them who've never actually been to South Africa for a Super Rugby tour. So yeah, it will be exciting, and I can't wait to experience. Hopefully, get the opportunity to play with the group. And I think we also like tours as a group, but we've never done one for so long as a group in general.
But that's a long shot. Yeah, you making the
Coach, please, not now, not here. Let's just wait for that after one-on-one, please.
Okay.
Alex and then
good morning, Rassie. You talked there very passionately about the value of tours for players and fans. I can think in recent years of July tours where England, Ireland, Wales have gone to the Southern Hemisphere and played test series and midweek games. Is it regrettable to you that the Nations Cup coming in next year will end the concept of touring from Northern Hemisphere teams to the South in July, replaced for one-off tests, given the value of tours and how engaging they are to players and fans?
Yes, personally for me, I mean, without having to think about commercial stuff and how do you make the balance sheet, work and the finances work. Because the moment I say, listen, it's stupid, we should keep the tours. I don't know what's going on in the boardrooms there and what makes the numbers work and what doesn't. Yes, from a rugby coach and a rugby player's perspective, it's always nice to play 2 or 3 test matches against a team, get to know them, get to know their coaches, their players. It was almost like Super Rugby. We now, when we play New Zealand, we really have to profile them from 3 weeks out. And Ruben Love, we didn't know at all. The center that's called the last try, we really didn't know. We knew the wing from the 7th series. So that's definitely something prior to Super Rugby, while Super Rugby was on, I didn't have a clue who's Paul O'Connell. I didn't know who was Felix Jones, those kind of things. But with them coming to tours here, you get to know the guys. I know that's where I met. He gave me Brennan. I think Brennan was the guy's name. He gave me a lekker uppercut. So the nice thing when touring happens, it's not just you see the guys on Saturday morning, you play the game, you drink a quick beer, and the guys are gone. So, but I just think we all have to adapt to where rugby is going, and if the numbers work and we don't throw everything out, then I think we're okay.
I don't think you were the only one to receive an uppercut from Trevor Brennan, Rassie.
Doesn't he?
I think he delivers more than one. But thank you for answering the question.
Okay. Might have been 2. Sorry.
Jan, before we take your question, please, can we just take Craig's one?
Thanks, Ina. Morning, Rassie. Morning, Sia. Maybe for both of you, but maybe you want to take it first, Rassie. We've seen with recent Lions series that the host nations, test players generally don't play in the provincial games. Would you be quite keen on your Springboks playing in some of the provincial games on this tour before the test series starts? I don't know what the logistics look like at this stage, but would that be an option?
It differs, Craig. Example, we have 2 weeks off now, then we go back into camp, and then we play Japan, and France, and Ireland, and Wales, and Scotland. Yeah, Italy. Now, the Japanese game is set up for us for the Japanese players who doesn't currently play in a league, and for some players who's coming back from injury. Now, if there's players, so it's difficult to answer your question, but if there's players next year who's out of form, who's come back from an injury, who's maybe in return to play, I think it's very tough if you in camp busy preparing for Greatest Rivalry Tournament, and if you play 3 games at home, you probably want to try and win at least 2 of those, or hopefully all 3. So the last one is a dead rubber, wherever that gets played. So unfortunately, in my opinion, Springboks must get the decision making there. But hell, I guess we'll have 36 players in our squad. But I also think it will be stupidity from our side if there's players in that squad of 36. 4 or 5 who's played no rugby, you've got them for training the whole week, and you can maybe train them Monday, Tuesday with you, and let them go Wednesday and train to play against the Lions, New Zealand. But then again, they might play midweek games and not on Saturday. So I can't answer you correct answer on that one now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ina. My question is for Sia. Sia, you obviously answered it partially about the excitement that the players have for the tours again. As a follow-on, would you enjoy these tours extended? I know this is about the Greatest Rivalry, but would you enjoy this extended, maybe a tour to Australia, maybe a tour to Argentina, also involving these kind of tests? I know that Rassie spoke about the logistics, and but would you like to see it extended to other countries?
Yeah, obviously we'll see how it works with the first one. But I think it will be amazing for our generation to get to experience these kind of things. But with obviously, as we spoke earlier, with not letting the rugby championship go to waste, I think it's an important competition that we enjoy playing. And this year's one was really tough. And I thought, I would love for it, as long as it works for everybody, not just for some teams. So, but I think it will be great for us to explore that, but we'll see. But I don't make any decisions but I think the players would enjoy it.
I can go next. Morning, Rassie. It was just a quick question. Apologies if you've answered this already. What's your earliest memory of South Africa against New Zealand that you can remember watching or reading about kind of growing up?
I guess it's watching New Zealand against other teams, not South Africa. And then the first one I can really remember was the Cavaliers, 86. And obviously I was a small boy when we toured them there with the whole, riots and those kind of things. Didn't understand what was happening there at that specific series. I knew the players more than not as a friend, but as heroes. I was. What year was that? 1980 or 19? What year was that? Can you remember? When
81.
81. I would have been 7. So I was 7 then. So yeah, I know the names of the players that went over. Obviously, I know the coaches that went over, but I didn't understand the whole political thing. So the rugby was weird for me, and I didn't understand what was happening. The first real time, I watched New Zealand a lot against other countries that if we had a television and it was broadcast. But then the first one where I thought I could really say I know and watch and know who the players were when the Cavaliers, I think that was in 86.
Thank you.
Hi, Coach. With talk of the Nations Cup and this Greatest Rivalry, Coach, does this perhaps strengthen an argument for a global calendar going forward, perhaps after 2027?
Listen, I probably am allowed to give my personal opinion, and I hope this doesn't go anything against Saru's wishes or the way they're thinking. And I don't want this to be a headline. This is just my opinion. I think it would be fantastic if we can all play the Rugby Championship in February when the Six Nations is on. It will be so much easier to know other teams, to be all aligned. Not that some countries are flat in June and other countries are peaking in November, and then we are flat in November. Law changes, I think, will be so much easier, or law variations to implement right across the board, because all of competitions will start at the same time. So my honest opinion, I can't see any other reason why us, New Zealand, Argentina, Australia, those guys all play that competition at the same time as the Six Nations. But hell, there might be a big thing that I'm missing here that just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I like your idea.
Let's take the last question from Hendrik, because we're running out of time. Callum, you can hop onto your other call. It's all good.
Thanks, Zina. Hello, Rassie. Hello, Sia. Rassie, will you maybe see rugby's greatest rivalry as a dry run for the knockout stages of the 2027 World Cup?
We actually, hello, Hendrik. I did get your WhatsApp. I'll still reply, sorry. Hendrik, we saw actually this weekend's, the previous 3 games, we not as a dry run, but to put some players through that kind of pressure, because it wasn't the World Cup we were playing for, but it was a big, for us, it was a big trophy which we played for. And we on purpose stuck certain players in there to see how they go. Now, it could have gone against us and we might have lost the thing, and it was a hell of a flop, but we managed to squeak through by 2 points and get it with net 2 points. The end of year tour will be, Ireland and France, and that will be somehow a bit of maybe a semi-final final thing to see if we can win the end of year tour. So yes, I guess let's get through this year, and then maybe we can put that cap on next year and say, okay, this is a nice dry run, but it's still a long way off.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Please remember the embargo. Andy will let you know when you are allowed using this, but please just hold it back until you get that official go ahead. Have a lovely day. Thanks for joining us and keep well. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.